All right, so what you're looking at here is the starter off my backhoe. Here's the specs on it right here. I have a 2001 New Holland LB75B Backhoe, and this starter was going out. At least I hope it's the starter that was going out. And I ordered this new one. Got this one off Amazon because a New Holland one from the dealer is $700 plus core, and this one was much cheaper. Probably the exact same motor and everything, but just doesn't have the New Holland sticker on it. So I'm gonna go get this put on my backhoe and see if this fixes my problem. Here are the two side by side. What really matters, of course, the specs have to be the same, but the mounting is what's really gonna matter. And they look either close enough or identical on the mount. Everything else looks like it should work. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one in. Of course, I've already taken this one off because I wanted to make sure that when I did order one, that it did match up to what I already pulled off. So let's get this thing on, see if I can get it cranked. So this is the backhoe, and it wasn't that hard actually getting the starter off, as long as you have the right tools and as long as you have the bucket in the air. So if you can't crank it and you didn't have the bucket in the air, you're gonna have a hard time. So what I had to do, because I did not have the bucket in the air, is I had to use my skid steer to lift up the arms so I could get them in the position that I needed to take this starter off. Of course, the starter is right here. You can see the flywheel exposed right there, and it is 3 bolts holding it in. Not the easiest bolts to get out, but it is done, and now I'm gonna get this one in. The other hard thing is getting that starter squeezed through this little opening down here. That wasn't easy taking it out, and I'm sure it's not gonna be easy getting it in, so I'm gonna work on that right now. All right, well, I'm resting my hands now because, man, that was not fun squeezing that in through there. That's a hydraulic hose and a bar, and anyways, not fun to try to get this starter in this small spot, but I got it through. Now I gotta get the holes lined up and I gotta get the wiring put back in. Hopefully this won't take much longer. As you can see, I had to take the fuel filter off. I took out the dipstick down there. It's hard to see, but it's behind there. And I unhooked my overflow hoses for the reservoir right here, for the coolant reservoir. Had to unhook those and I got them pulled up here. Had to get the fuel hoses and everything else out of the way so I could get in there and have a clean area to work in. But coming along. All right, so got the starter in, got all the wiring put back together, got the coolant hose put back on, got the fuel filter and all the fuel hoses and everything else that's supposed to be hooked up, I believe, all hooked up. So now I need to crank this thing up and make sure that it's gonna run. Moment of truth, let's see if I can get this thing cranked. I'm having to let the fuel pump run a little bit to get fuel flushed back through everything. I have used this little drain nozzle here to get out the air in the filter and in the line. I think I'm ready to hit it. Of course, the key's way over here. Let me try it. And it cranked. All right, now that starter spinning up doesn't sound anything like the old starter. But then again, the old starter was basically going out. So this one has a really high squeal when you hit that starter. A little bit different than what I'm used to hearing, but it did crank it. I'm hoping that's not something wrong with that starter, but only time will tell. Anyways, it's cranking, and I'm glad to know that it wasn't another major issue right now. Of course, who knows what else could go wrong. Hopefully this fixes it. All right, well, thank y'all very much for watching. Y'all take care.